Hi, this is Timothy Powell again from T. Powell CPA, and last time I was talking to you about data validation. Well, data validation gets even more important when we get into the world of Worksheet S-10 and the reporting of uncompensated care. So one of the first issues that hits uncompensated care is ASC 606 has now required that charity care and care provided to patients for which the provider has no reason to expect compensation is not considered to be revenue at all anymore. So one of the requirements of the audits coming up for Worksheet S-10 is that providers be able to reconcile to their audited financial statements the amounts they're showing on their Work S-10 spreadsheet. The problem being is that according to the new GAAP effective for years ended 12/31/2019, there is not going to be an entry for charity care or contractual allowances or bad debts, with the exception of bad debts for which the hospital thought it was eventually going to receive compensation. So financial statements are going to look significantly different. The second issue in terms of data validation goes along with something called transaction codes. The list that hospitals use, if you run reports of things like charity care accounts that are written off or accounts that are written off to bad debts, come from transaction codes that are used within the system. The problem being that often the transaction codes are either misused or the amount that is being written off includes physician information, physician charges, or that accounts that normally should be recorded as charity care are written off to contractual allowances. So as a starting point, you want to take the actual charges that are coming from your 837 billings and 835 payment files and try to do some kind of reconciliation to see what is flowing through into that write-off, and to make sure that you're not writing off things as contractual allowances that are really charity care or bad debt, and also that the amount that you're listing in bad debts is net of the amounts that are received from patients and net of the amount from payers. So you need to do some cleanup within that list. So it's really going to be worth your while to use electronic data to dig further in, but also you need to make sure that you keep track of what dates are used in your hospital system for the write-off date for the charity care write-off or the bad debt write-off, as well as making extra calculations for things like was there a partial payment from Medicaid? Is this a Medicaid account that they've used up their benefits, or a Medicare account that they've used up their benefits, it's written off as charity? And also that you've applied the charity policy of your particular provider, that if there's a automatic 40% write-off of accounts before applying charity, that's actually applied. It just makes the whole process much more difficult that the amount of charity allowance and the amount of bad debts no longer tied to the financial statements. So we recommend the first point to start with being looking into your electronic data and reconciliation, but it's very key that you have communication with your finance department and the people that are preparing your audited financial statements, that at least you can add as footnotes amounts that are going to tie to the amounts that you're writing off, and that those amounts go along with your charity care policy. You want to make sure that accounts are not being written off as automatic charity, maybe because of the zip code that they're in, that the amounts that are written off as charity are actually accounts that have gone through the charity care process. But the place to start is with your electronic data to make sure that you're picking up all of your claims. You should be able to significantly increase the amount that you get in uncompensated care by going through and using electronic data rather than simply data that flows through the hospital accounting system. And also part of the year-end financial statement process should be a reconciliation of what is being written off to the hospital's books as charity care or bad debts. And maybe at the end of the year you have additional accounts, or you want to have accounts that are modified or changed in how they're listed in the hospital listings for how they're written off based on the work that you've done on the electronic claims. So with that being said, if you need help, reach out to us. Thanks. Take care.